Hello and welcome to Innovating Inclusion, where we are exploring inclusivity, disability awareness, universal design, and entrepreneurship. I'm Stephen McCoy, and today my co-host pilot the ship, writer and entrepreneur herself, Katie Corbett,
Hey, Stephen. Hey, everybody. I'm super excited for today's convo.
and the host of the podcast, This Is What Blind Looks Like, Angie Castro.
Today, we had the privilege of talking to journalist, influencer, product ambassador, entrepreneur, and makeup designer Lucy Edwards.
Angie, you've been following Lucy for forever, right?
Yes, I have, but I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Did you guys seriously keep her on after the interview for makeup tips?
What wasn't recorded didn't happen.
Enjoy today's amazing episode.
Lucy, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I've followed you for so long. I want to say maybe like 2014, 2015.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I've loved your content for a long time. I also love makeup and fashion, and I've been doing my makeup non-visually for like 10 years.
Oh, amazing.
So thanks to all you blind fashion girlies. So right now I'm al natural. I'm not in any makeup at all. And it's kind of cold and gloomy here, so
Honestly, that's so cool to hear. And I'm just so happy that I can be on here and just chatting to you guys today. It does help a gloomy day, doesn't it? To just have a chin wag.
Absolutely. I remember when I was 13, my sister taught me how to do my makeup. I was just like, I want to learn how to do this. And I've always been totally blind. So non-visually has always been the way that I've done my makeup. How did you learn to do your makeup non-visually? Did you have a friend or sister or someone who kind of took you under her wing, or
Yeah.
how did that go?
So a lot like you, my love. My sister, she is 15 months younger than me. She's super cute, but she is also completely sighted, and we've both loved makeup. To be honest, she loved it earlier than me in a way because she loved like the drag queens, and she started to kind of introduce me into this world of baking with powder and like really quite graphic liner and stuff. And I just thought it was super cool when I could see. And then I lost my eyesight when I was 17, and I would kind of do just more minimal makeup. I had obviously like the teenage mistakes where I'd have my foundation a bit just the wrong color for my skin tone and stuff like that, which we all do no matter what age really. But yeah, no, my sister, when I lost my vision, she audio described hours upon hours of makeup tutorials that otherwise would have been inaccessible to me. And I know that that is a very privileged position to come from and to be in because I have her, but it is just me and her. She's my only sister and I'm hers, and we're just so close. And she also is autistic, which I adore because she just sees the world so clearly. And I don't know, color and vibrancy and all of that is just her audio descriptions are just everything. You know, she's grown up with me being visually impaired, losing the sight in my one eye at 11 and left eye at 17. So she's very attuned into describing things. So yeah, she's amazing.
So I started playing with makeup in my early 20s, and then my cousin helped me learn how to do it. And then obviously people at the Sephora counters and Ulta and stuff like that. And then when I watched videos with you and Molly and Fashionista, you know, Emily Davidson, and I started watching all these blind girlies on YouTube doing their makeup, I'm like, if they can do it, I can learn too. And I have some vision, but I've felt that learning how to apply makeup non-visually is better because I don't have to use my vision and I don't have to strain my eye trying to see where my crease is, where to fill in my eyebrow, or anything like that.
Yeah, that's super cool. This is the thing, like we just can do it just as well as people who are sighted, and that's super cool that you learn on. The thing is that I think these days the Sephora counter and stuff, it's just getting better and better to go and talk to someone. People are so friendly.
Oh yeah, they're lovely. I could just walk in there and I could just tell them like, hey, I want to try, for example, the Rare Beauty foundation and concealer. Would you mind color matching me, please? And they do so, you know, they're great. My guide dog, I taught him how to find Sephora, so he'd be like, okay, we'll go, you know?
Oh, that's great.
He knows what I love. It's funny.
Amazing.
Girl.
Was there a time or a situation that you decided, okay, I'm going to make this my career? What was it like for you getting into this field that most people assume is inaccessible?
Yeah, I think initially, I don't know, I didn't really know that it could be a thing, for one, to just do my makeup and feel okay with it. Because I think the stereotype, I don't know if you guys agree, that it's very like blindness is frumpy or blindness is X or Y or Z, because we weren't represented in the media in the correct way. So I think doing it as a young girl, I remember just feeling a bit isolated and just really happy that I could finally just talk about all the things that I loved and that what made me Lucy. You know, when I lost my eyesight, I felt like I lost so much of myself, and I tried to analyze why. And I think that was just because the world saw me so differently and I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't put kind of both sides of the coin together, living in a sighted body and just being just me, and then suddenly people seeing me so differently. That didn't make sense to me at all. So I think these outward expressions, that's I found my makeup was the thing that made me just take time for myself every single day. When I felt really low, I was on really strong antidepressants, and my guide dog Olga at the time, who's at my feet, she's retired now, and she gave me the kind of motivation to get out the front door. And when I was 18, and I remember, you know, she gave me a routine, and I was like, well, the first thing that needs to go into this routine is me just, you know, learning how to live my life again through makeup. And I just didn't want to face the fact that having a mirror was the be all and end all, because it's just completely not. It's like, how can I control my appearance and feel great about myself and still feel like me? So that's how it kind of started. And then, yeah, as I say, there was no one out there that kind of I felt very connected to, and I didn't have any blind people in my life that were independent. So I wanted to find a community online, and that's kind of how it started. And now we're here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really important to find a community that can help you just grow as a person and help you get out of your shell and help you become who you are. So, with that being said, how would you define beauty? Everybody defines beauty in their own way. So, how do you define beauty?
Love that. I actually applied for some funding a couple of months back now, and I answered this very question through the application process, but via a video that I also submitted alongside my application. And they said, what does beauty mean to you? And I made the video, and at the start it says beauty means getting mascara all over your face. And it's kind of a bit of a jovial take in that, like, you can see me literally just smearing. It's very intentional.
I saw that on Instagram and I loved it so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it kind of starts like that, and it's quite shocking. And then I go into actually what beauty means and what it should mean. Because notoriously beauty has meant inaccessibility to me. So I think redefining how I saw beauty and how I saw myself was such a massive part of my rehabilitation, as I said. And I think to me, it means truly being your inner self, thriving and having accessible products with innovative designs, universal design principles, like all of that jazz, like designing for everybody, really at the ethos of the product, and understanding that the world around me needed to be fixed, not me as an individual.
Right.
I thought for so long that I was a burden and all of these different words. And, you know, when I pushed that away and thought beauty doesn't have to mean what you see, it's about the different types of vision that you can envisage for your life and how you feel. And amazingly, it was so cool, because I got the funding and now I'm on the journey to launch my makeup brand. It's going to be a good long time, but that's what beauty truly means to me.
That is so exciting, Lucy. I cannot wait. For that to come out and to try out the products. I'm going to be all over that once you release that.
And this is kind of perfect too, because our podcast is promoting a contest where young people, you know, aged 14 to 24 are going to be working on creating innovative ideas in using universal design. So I'm just wondering, now that you've jumped into more of an entrepreneurial space as you're developing your makeup line, what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs who are interested in universal design and being more inclusive?
Love this. And as soon as I got the email, well, my manager forwarded me the email for you guys. I was like, yes, I need to talk to them. They sound amazing. And what you're doing is super cool. So thank you for inviting me. And I think if you're a young person and you're listening to this right now, it's hard. I remember feeling so isolated and not myself back then. And understanding that in my early 20s, I started to be like, well, actually, this blind thing, it's actually all right. It's going to be okay. Understanding that universal design at the moment is definitely in everybody's minds. Brands are striving, and I'm getting more and more jobs, and more people come to me and say, how do we make inclusive packaging? How do we design for everybody? And if I'm doing a modeling contract for a job that I'm doing on social media, usually it does have a consulting element on this. And I say that to you to give you encouragement, really. It is really a space that is growing, and the diversity, equity, inclusion consciousness is definitely in everybody's minds. So it's a super cool competition, and what you've got going on here, it sounds amazing. And I think if you have an innovative idea, it's about writing it down, understanding that where is the gap? What does that look like for you? And what problem are you solving? It's always the top line, that question, what is the problem? If it's a problem that you are having, most likely somebody is having it too. Is it a universal problem? And how can you make current products that you are holding in your hands accessible to you or accessible to everybody? Because I don't just think about blindness and my disability, although I can speak to that and have a lived experience to that. I am thinking about all different disabilities. So I guess it's like thinking from that standpoint, but also I really admire an entrepreneur in the UK called Beverley, and she has a course out right now that you can actually download. I really admire her shorts that she does on business and entrepreneurship, and she has lots of different exercises that you can do to clarify where you want to go and what space and why you're doing it. And I think it's your why is so important. I always thought that for my personal brand, and now I'm thinking about it for Etia, which is my makeup brand. What is your why? And my why, especially for Lucy Edwards and how I envisage things, is I get up every morning because I want to make the lives of disabled people, especially all those little Lucys out there who didn't feel represented, who felt sick, who didn't feel like themselves, feel included finally. And I think if that drives you, you'll go a long way.
Was there a time or a situation that made you want to go into inclusive design or accessibility within the beauty industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think delving deeper, it would just be trial and error. I have tried at this point thousands of products that are completely or in part accessible or inaccessible or accidentally accessible, all of the above. And it's been trial and error, understanding how through labeling all of these different products, like how I would get better application from them or better payoff or understand what I'm doing a lot more. And I think through doing that, I'm nearly having my 12-year anniversary of going blind in March next year. And I'm so privileged to say that I have trialed all these products, but I don't want somebody else to have to go through what I've been through, because I've had my sister there literally staring at my face. She always laughs. She's like, I know your face probably better than mine somewhat, Lucy, because the amount of times I've stared at things. So yeah, she makes me giggle. Yeah, I think it's that want and desire to do that. And also just like notoriously the beauty community isn't representative, but also it does drive a lot of trend. And I think also my collaboration with Pantene when I was an ambassador for them, that kind of steered the marketing industry into not just having tokenistic representation. When I was on 2 of their adverts, I consulted behind the scenes with Procter & Gamble to understand how we can actually make the packaging more accessible for my community and our community. And I just think, yeah, it's just brilliant. It's a passion project of mine, definitely. I'm just so lucky.
I love that. What aspects of your career do you find rewarding?
Oh, such a good question. When I became the ambassador of Blind Barbie and I got a video of a little girl being given a blind Barbie by her mama, and she was just the most excited little girl on the planet. Oh, it can make me cry now. But yeah, it's just honestly, that is why. Sorry, guys. I don't know. It chokes me up even now. I don't ruin your makeup.
Definitely.
Oh gosh, that is what gets me out of bed. Like that is all that matters. You can think about, I am the face of adverts, I'm a model, I'm an author, all of these things. I love that I've done that, and that success is just totally amazing. I am proud of that, and I'm proud of my achievements, but truly why I get up and my value system, what is the core of me, is I felt so ill and so low and so not like myself when I was 17, and I just really don't want anyone else to go through that. So hearing that gorgeous little girl be so excited that finally there was a blind Barbie just means that finally we have acceptance that I had never known when I was her age, and she doesn't have to grow up feeling scared about becoming blind. And that is why I will just continue doing what I do, even though there's negatives and positives to every job. And there was a point where there was parts of my journey online where I was, oh, is this for me? But of course it is. And as soon as you align back to your values and understand why you started things in the first place, yeah, that's why I do what I do.
I love that.
I have Blind Barbie sitting in my studio, actually. And when Blind Barbie came out, I was like, finally, this is it. We've been waiting for Blind Barbie.
My sister and I, when we played Barbies, we used to use pencils. So the Barbie would have a cane. She could have a pencil. So it's really great that we don't have to do that anymore.
I was so happy. I was like so overjoyed. I'm like, oh my God, now blind little girls all over the world are going to be able to be like, there's a doll that looks like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to cry,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
just a breakthrough. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like now in this day and age, disability is being understood. Disability is being talked about. The younger generations have so much to access now within their reach than when we were kids, when we were growing up. I love that now it's easier for people to become educated and understand disability.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. What advice do you have for people as they're building their team?
Absolutely. So I'll take you back. I just started uploading with lots of ums. That first edit, I think me and Ollie edited out nearly 30 ums in my first video. So it's still up, and he managed to, but it's very choppy. So I guess the first thing to say is just post it. And I definitely went it alone without a team for a good 17, 18, 19, 20, probably like 4, maybe more like 5 years. And my YouTube channel was my portfolio. So I just kept uploading. And these days, Final Cut Pro is so super accessible. And TikTok's getting there, although it's still, it's still a bit ropey. And I think the point of access for us with technology at our fingertips, it's about technology and tools. And I think it's about getting started. And the reason that this relates to a team is because I then found a team after that. I managed to get an apprenticeship through using my YouTube as a portfolio. And then I worked at the BBC as a traditional broadcaster for a good, I want to say like a full-time, a good year. And then I actually moved on from the apprenticeship myself because YouTube was starting to take off. And I went freelance at Radio 4 and kind of became more in front of the camera. But what I would say is the biggest bit of advice back then is I got so many no's. So many of my ideas I would email and they wouldn't get commissioned. And I would say you could send 100 emails and you're lucky if one gets read back then. And I just kept going and going and going and going. I was like a boomerang. And I remember in the pandemic, we all hate that word, but my BBC Radio 4 work waned a little bit, as every freelancer had, a bit more so. And I was just like, TikTok's blowing up. I'm just going to do 3 videos a day. Everyone thought I was mad. And bless Ollie, he always goes on my harebrained schemes. And then suddenly from August to December, we had 1 million followers. Wow. And suddenly was getting, we were reaching out to management, and because of our use case and our videos and I was sending emails and, hi, do you like my videos? This is a video that I've done. And then you've got some content to kind of put at the start of your email, and then we're away. We've got a team. So I think it was a lot of learning. It was a lot of persistence. And I guess also what's really important is to get a coach. I think if I could look back at my younger self just starting social media, I would really try and get just someone in the media field to try and guide you, reach out, ask for coffees. But understand like you are a valuable asset, even though you haven't necessarily got the experience under your belt. What do you have that you can give to somebody? Now I'm very lucky that I can delegate those tasks, but I really didn't for 5 years. And it's about grounding yourself in like doing everything, every part. If you love this craft, be the editor, be the uploader, be the producer. Like, what do you love about it? And understand the core values of like what you love about that, and then you can go into it. I just adore my team. I've worked hard to get my team. People brand you as an overnight success, and usually you've got 10 years behind you of like full on like, ah. So yeah, again, I am obviously very, very lucky to be in the position that I'm in, and I would never take that for granted, ever, ever, ever.
Beautiful.
So can you tell us what do you do to keep up with the trends when it comes to technology that's out there now?
It kind of comes back to my journalist training in that I always read the news every single day, but I have curated, actually Google Trends messages me every single day at 4 p.m. That's what I've set it to, on all these different tags that I've kind of put into my algorithm. So it tracks all different things. Like, I guess one thing would be long white canes. It depends. Like, sometimes it comes up with nothing at 4 p.m. Monday to Friday, and other time then I have to delete it, but other times it does. And it's really cool. I can just track what's going on in the space. And I think also following people on my timeline. So I know, for instance, the different technology. I follow BBC Click, which is the technology program on the BBC, which I've done some pieces for, but they always do a show every December to show the new technologies and tools. I also go on like different forums, but also what I was taught to do at the BBC is very much like, if you are searching something, search the opposite all of the time. So for me, I don't just follow the political persuasion that I agree with or I'm more aligned to. I follow everything. And I try and be as neutral as possible to try and get into all different algorithms. And I think that's what has really served me over the years. Also, visually, I've obviously got a team now. I didn't have that at the start and kind of went on trends and Google Trends and different things and waves like that. I do also get my team to do a deep dive nowadays on like more visual memes and stuff. But again, that's not necessarily mandatory. And also you can ask ChatGPT now what's like visually popping off and stuff. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. That's a bit of stuff.
Awesome. All right, well, let's jump into our rapid fire round. Angie, do you want to give us the first question?
So when you are not busy working or innovating or producing content, what are your hobbies and interests?
Okay, so I'm currently crocheting a blanket for my best friend's little newborn. Well, she's about to give birth, so I'm really excited. So yeah, I'm really trying to get into that. It's rubbish. It's finger crocheting, but we move.
Yeah.
my little niece will like it.
What do you believe to be true?
Ooh, that's a very open question. Believe to be true that love prevails and kindness will always trump everything.
So next question, what do you want to see?
I want to see, oh gosh, this is such an open question. I think you can take this two ways. I want to see all brands and products not feel the same anymore, and every bottle and every product that I feel, just change. And I guess I could go on the see, but I could tell you all of the different things that I miss seeing, but that's another podcast, and it can also become very positive as well.
For sure. Oh, what is one thing that people would be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, probably that I'm quite blunt in real life, maybe. I don't know. Like, I just say it how it is. Like, my dad's very like that. I'm maybe very British like that.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
I'm the same. I'm not British, but I definitely do call it what it is. So,
Call a fish a fish.
yeah.
Is that the saying? I don't know.
So the next question is, so if you were stranded on a deserted island, and if there was like a piece of technology related to your disability that you can have with you, what would it be?
On just my iPhone. It's just everything is glued to me. It's probably a very generic answer, but I reply to everything. All of my WhatsApp chats, my team, my business. It's just life.
Yep, I'm here with you.
Awesome. And then our last question is, if you could have one superpower to help you with your work, what would it be?
Oh, tell me my work. I'd love to teleport. I travel so much. And imagine if it literally took me a minute to get to New York. Like, that would be insane.
Awesome. Oh, cool.
Well, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. And I read your book, Blind Not Broken, and I loved it so much.
Thank you so much.
And I love what you're doing for inclusivity and universal design. And I wish you the best of luck with all that you do. And I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been so lovely chatting to you. You can tell through the airwaves, we're so like-minded, and it's just so lovely to be on your podcast, and amazing. Update me with what competition goes and what you guys are doing.
Lucy is an RTS award-winning presenter, journalist, content creator, speaker, and disability activist. After losing her sight at 17 due to Incontinentia Pigmenti, Lucy committed to sharing her experiences and raising awareness about disability. Her engaging personality and open commentary have garnered her a social media following of over 2.8 million, with her content being viewed over 1 billion times. Lucy's influence makes her a leading voice in the global diversity, equity, and inclusion space. She can be reached on most social media platforms at Lucy Edwards, on Instagram at Lucy Edwards Official, and her website, lucyedwards.com. Innovating Inclusion is produced in association with InVisions, a program of the Fox Family Foundation, whose mission is to break the link between poverty and disability. The goal of InVisions is to teach high school and college students to innovate with universal design in mind, where young entrepreneurs of all abilities create side by side, so as they become the next generation of leaders and hiring managers, any stigma is gone and the world is accessible to everyone. Our hosts today were Katie Corbett and Angie Castro with Stephen McCoy. Our theme song was written by Alex Kapp, with incidental music by Kylie Cooper and Bruce McGinnis. This episode was co-produced by Angie Castro. Our producer is Akira Nakano. Please visit our website, innovatinginclusion.org.